in the months and days that's going. Crack was fine.
Man, y'all know what it is. Welcome back to another episode of Halftime Radio Show. It's your boy Uncle JB, and today, man, we got one of them ones. We got one of the best guys that I've known for years. Met him back in Colorado during E-Days, and we've been locked in since. And I'm just super excited to bring him to the family so y'all can get to know him, get to know his journey, what he does, his passion. My man, Mr. Cameron Christian. How you doing, boss?
That's a great intro, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, bro. Thank you for sliding. I know you had other reasons why you came to Austin, but thank you for coming on the podcast, bro.
Glad to be here,
that's
man.
love. I appreciate it, man. Man, so real quick, like I always like to tell people before we get into it with the family, if you wouldn't mind just like telling everybody who you are, where you from, what you do, and then we'll just kind of just dive into the conversation after that, boss.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, it's an honor to be here. We talked about this yesterday about just the whole purpose behind this, and I know you personally before you even started this, so like it just made nothing but complete sense to just be here and support you because you support me as well.
I appreciate that,
It's
fam.
what we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I go by the name of Cameron Christian. I am from Jackson, Mississippi, originally. Came out to Houston in 2008. Been kind of into different things over my life. Was really passionate about basketball for a couple years. That's how I met Jalen.
Yeah.
And that's how I met you.
Yep.
So, sports carries a lot of different timelines, and, that's really how I met half of my friend group, if not all of them, is through sports. Right. But no, like, I was pretty, I was good, but not good enough to make it to, where I can pay the bills with sports. So, went eventually into, like, doing music. Most people don't know that. Most people will never know that until now.
Yeah.
This is the musical genius over here on the couch. You can't see him. Paul will know everybody. But
Man, Paul.
went from like, a musical era to filmmaking era, and then now we have landed in the designer era.
Yeah.
I think going forward though, bro, Paul and I were talking about this the other day. Like, honestly, I don't really think I could put myself into a box of like what I'm going to do. I'm not comfortable with that anymore, honestly, because it's like there's talents and gifts in each of those pockets with like film and music and designing and like basically just like manifesting what's in your head into visual, sonically, or something tangible that you can feel and touch. So everything creative I'm interested in doing. We talk about God has given us gifts and opportunities to make something of ourselves. So I'm not going to put limits on myself because I don't think God will put limits on me. So,
Right. You're going to pursue it.
Yeah.
You say you're going to pursue it
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah. And that's the freedom of it, man. It's a blessing to like be in a space to where now I can sustain myself and my business and kind of pour money into it. But like once we're like fully engulfed in it, kind of like how you're doing with the podcast, when we're doing it full time, like it's just a life of just like existing and like sharing it. And that's a good segue to what Cameron Christian really is about, honestly. The core principles is definitely like the family aspect. Same thing with halftime.
Yep.
What really matters, being grounded, being present, being aware, all these things that actually matter in life. I'm starting to develop this saying like, I don't want to sell you a shirt if the shirt is going to make you. You know what I mean? Like I don't want you to wear Cameron Christian if this becomes your identity.
Yeah.
I want you to be whole within before you like try to use something material to cover it up. So
I love that actually, bro. What made you think of that? Like, what made you land on that?
Self-discovery, realizing that like I was the person that was trying to like find myself in material things and like what I have, what I own. And then eventually you just like, because I mean anything we're doing, like we're sharing a message to the world. So it's like, how do you want to present yourself? I have to be whole before I like show up for what I do in the world. So Just self-discovery, man. Being aware, fucking a lot of shit up,
Yep.
getting a lot of things wrong.
Yep.
But God's like bringing me back to like what matters. So
Right.
naturally going forward, everything, how you do one thing is how you do anything. So whether it's like my family, my craft, relationships, whatever, like you're trying to stay grounded in all aspects. So it would be a shame not to have that be a part of the company.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your mission statement in a way, bro.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've already talked about it, and obviously I know you personally, so I know like your family does play a big role in your life, right? So like, how do you pull from your family like inspiration to put into your clothing or put into just not even, I'm not gonna say clothing, I'll just say your creative process, because it's like you said, it's not just in clothing, it's in all things.
Right. How they inspire. I think it's more of like what they give me. From motivation to purpose to, my mom calling me 30 times a day, hearing her voice and just like knowing like my mom is my superhero, man. So like hearing her voice and like just knowing her so well, like we're best friends, we're like this. So just knowing the lineage of people she comes from, we talked about this too. Like growing up in like rural Mississippi, deep country, my great grandfather owned 12 businesses and constantly had to protect them from KKK Klansmen or people, deep South racism. And just understanding like the mentality that was before me, and my grandfather paid it forward. My great grandfather paid it forward to my mom, and my mom, if you meet her, she's goofy like I am, but she's very serious and like particular and intentional with a lot of things that she does, and she's just warm, like she's just an amazing person. So obviously we don't have that conversation every day, but just talking to her and knowing her and like and seeing my little brother grow up, that gives me like a purpose behind what I do, because I want to do the same thing for my kids, for their kids, and so on and so forth. So it translates to like that peace of mind to know that I have that behind me.
Yeah.
So like going forward into the world, like nothing else really fucking matters,
Right.
like I'm existing.
You
And
can
we're-
try something,
Right.
and then if it don't work out, like you said, like if you fall back, you falling on support. You're not falling on the hard ground
Yeah.
where nobody like
Right.
is backing you up. You feel me? So it's like you can continue to bounce ideas, try them, like you said, bring that tangible thing, like the
Yeah.
thing in my head, bring it action like up to the physical.
Yeah,
And if it works, great.
yeah,
If it don't, great.
great.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I have the peace of mind to be able to go create because you have that support.
yeah.
And I think I wish more people would, no matter who it is, support their people. I always talk about that. And it's the most simplest thing that you can do, because now you give people the freedom to say, you know what, they believe in me.
Yeah.
Let me put a little bit more effort into it.
Yeah.
Let me pour a little bit more into this
Yeah.
and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's dope. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about that, because like family is it should be a big part of everybody's life, right? And sometimes it don't got to be blood. You know what I mean? That's family right there. You feel me? So it's find the right people, the right group, so you can go be creative and try new things and do new things, because you never know what's gonna hit.
You never know. And it's a deep process. I would say to truly be creative, like if we're talking about the word being creative, at least for me, it's deeply rooted into like who you are as a person. And the more you discover yourself, the more you discover what you're creating.
Yeah.
What does that world look like? What does the Cameron Christian world look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? The deeper I know myself and I discover myself and I ask myself certain questions, and my friends, my family, like just constantly reinforce that journey, eventually I arrive at better and better creations over time. And it's like, for me, it's imperative to have family and friends like the day we had yesterday.
Yeah.
Like we know what we're creating for. I'm not creating to like because I have to.
Right.
I'm creating to like because that's what I've been
It's a
given.
passion.
Yes, that's what I've been given to do. But at the end of the day, my biggest joy in life is being around y'all.
Yeah.
Like my mom, my family, my brothers, my friends. Almost I be two-term.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be like, you might want to chill, Cam. Like people chilling,
Right with you.
read the room. But sometimes I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I don't give a fuck. I'm so happy I can't contain myself. So it's like,
Hey man, your gift's gonna make room for you. You feel me?
yeah.
And if you are operating in that space, it's you should be happy in every room you walk in.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be down on yourself because this is an opportunity again. You might take inspiration from this moment and be able to create off of it if you operate in the right space.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So like, I think that's dope. You mentioned something that made me think about this. You said the process of self-discovery, right? What was that process like for you? So like for somebody who's a creative out there that's looking to say, hey, you know what, like I do need to go on a process of self-discovery and going within to figure out what I like, what Cameron Christian likes to smell. You know what I'm saying? What the smell is like, what the vision is like. What was that process like for you?
It's forever going on.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey. I would say this. There are certain people who ask questions and there are certain people who accept what's been given to them, what's been told to them. They accept certain answers. Maybe that's the quote. Some people ask questions, some people accept answers. And I would say naturally, bro, from day one, it was all about questions. It was all about what's going on around me. Like I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. I saw a lot of duality there with growing up where I grew up, rough side of town, like around my friends, my grandma side of town, like things were a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up in good times, but like the environment was very fucked up, But my mom did everything she could to put me in private school. So I was able to go from my neighborhood to private school and see how they were living.
Yeah.
And that makes me ask more questions. That creates insecurity. That creates an inferiority to a degree. So my father, I won't go too deep into that. Not a public figure fully yet, so I don't want to put his business out there without talking to him. But he definitely went to jail throughout my childhood. He was around, but like our relationship wasn't perfect. So that makes more questions. That creates more things that you need to discover. But I would say inside, bro, it's almost like a curse. Like I have to figure it out. That's my engine that I've been given, and it leads to great things, but I can't turn it off. So the self-discovery thing is like I have no choice. That's the curse of it. Like if you want to look at it that way, it's really a blessing. But growing up, I had to figure it out. I had to like understand myself. I had to understand why this happened. I take things very seriously. I joke a lot, but I take things very seriously. So like that forced me to figure myself out. Most people don't know this, and I don't mind sharing this part of my testimony at this point. But a large part of my life, I was like deeply depressed, and that goes back to like what my identity was in. It was rooted in material things, what people's perceptions of me, all these things that are fleeting. Constantly like, I can never grab it. I can never, like, I'm forever chasing that. So like I was deeply depressed to a point where I physically harmed myself at times. Tried to take my life a couple times. Got to a point to where I was on medication, bro. Ended up in like, this was an accident, by the way. It's a terrible story, a funny story, but I was supposed to go to the hospital. Moms, they try to do everything in their power for their babies to be okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, this medication is making me crazy. It's like Kanye moment. It's like, bruh, I wasn't this crazy. Like, this shit is making me crazy.
Wow.
So I was supposed to go to the hospital to like transition to something better for me. But the hospital, my mom looked it up. It said hospital, but when we got there, it was a fucking psych ward.
Oh man.
So I was in there, and I'm coming back to your question, but I was in there with people with like, I couldn't leave, so it was like I was in prison for like 2 or 3 days. But I'm sitting next to a guy who's like schizophrenic, so that they have me in there depressed next to someone who's schizophrenic, and I kid you not, the dude like literally sat up half the night in this position. He had to have incredible core strength. to nigga, you sleep like this for 8 hours, and but he's talking to himself the whole night. Like it's not in English. I think the brother was possessed.
Oh man.
So,
bruh.
long story short, you're in there with people who are truly like broken in the most absurd ways, from like a crazy childhood, all the way to just like mental disorders that they can't change.
Yeah.
That makes me ask more questions. So after that experience, after the doctor who held me captive, my mom had to fight. They had to call up there, to be like, bro, let him out.
That's crazy.
And I chose to be there.
Yeah.
So do not go to a psych ward. It's crap. So basically that experience like kind of like made me saying like it was rock bottom. For me, it was absolutely rock bottom. And I decided when I went out there, I'm not going to take medication. Do not do that either. Do not listen to this advice. I chose to no longer take the medication. I chose to mentally, I knew it was going to be tough. But whatever this demon is, or this thing I've had on my back all my life, no more. You're not going to beat me anymore. From that point on, I can honestly say I have, there was hard times, but I've never been depressed. I never allowed depression to take root in me anymore after I walked out of that hospital. And to do that, you have to really know who you are. So all the voices, not voices in my head, and I wasn't schizophrenic, but all the outside noise from the world, from everything that we deal with, that couldn't tell me who Cameron was. So I have to know who Cameron is. So as time goes along, I have to like really put that self-discovery thing at the top of my list. So nothing can break me. And at the center of all that self-discovery is God. But without that, without him leading me to revelations or different epiphanies or different people, different experiences, different conversations, all these things that bring self-discovery, I wouldn't have discovered much. Yeah. So, yeah, bro, I would say like that's the whole process of how that looks, and it's continuous from here. But I would say I built a great foundation with my family, friends, and God, to where like as life goes on, it's compounding. Yeah. It's abundant now. I'm not working out of scarcity. I'm working out of abundance. Exactly. So yeah.
That's beautiful. And I mean, it's cool, like you said, bro, like you had people, again, supporting you through that whole process. So you weren't alone at all, no matter what those voices, said to you. You feel me? And two, another thing, I feel like with self-discovery, right, it's like we all have our generational curses that we got to break. Absolutely. You feel me? And at some point, we all have to go fight against those demons to take territory back. You feel me? And so, in a way, that's what you did. You had to look everything in the face and just take it in, take it for what it is. So now, nobody can control your thermostat because you know yourself. Nobody can get close to it because you know yourself. You know, like, if I get into this situation or if this starts to happen, you know how to start to move. You know what I mean? And make sure that you keeping yourself in that high to where you're not, I guess, acting out of low vibration. Yes. You know what I mean? And so I think that's beautiful that, obviously, again, like, you're not schizo, but it's beautiful though that you can look back on that story and you can look back on that time and take again beauty out of it, abundance out of it, and not pain and not sorrow. You feel me? Because it's so easy for any of us to look back on a situation and think the most terrible things out of it. But everything that happens in our life is to shape us, to grow us, to mold us, to get us closer to God if we acting in that alignment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's really funny. Like we have a crazy sense of humor. I think we're hilarious.
Yeah.
I think we're comedic geniuses. We may do a comedy show if we wanted
We
to.
may.
But yeah, like you were saying, bro, there's so much crazy shit that's happened. I should have died multiple times. You know, I've seen some of my like really good friends be dead in front of me. Like as a child, I've had a nigga that I was hooping with at the gym die in my arms because he had a heart attack. Like just like shit I've seen growing up. Like it somehow it's funny because it didn't break me. It made me. So why not laugh about it?
Right.
You know, like why not like cherish what happened? Like why not cherish the people who did wrong by me? Because if you didn't do that, I wouldn't have had my moment of like rock bottom to get where I'm at now.
Exactly.
So thank you more than fuck you. You know.
Exactly.
So yeah, bro. Like life is beautiful, man. I'm.
You can't,
You know.
bro. Like I tell people all the time, man. God is, if God is all things, then God is the best comedian that there is. You feel me?
Breath funny.
And-
Breath's funny.
And you sometimes you gotta look at situations and you have to laugh it off.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, you know what, like, let me keep it moving.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know, actually, I want to talk to you about this too. It's like, have you, in your creative process, let's say with the clothing line, have you had like business rock bottoms? See what I'm saying? Like, you've had your personal rock bottom. What about like the creative process? Like, how have you bounced back like rock bottom in that aspect?
The great Nipsey Hussle said, and I might butcher it, but people act like I had like a plan or like I had all this thought out. Like, no, I just never gave up. I just kept going. And that's the difference between people who win and people who lose is like you keep going, but like the thing with when you're a believer, like I have that engine. I can't stop if I wanted to. I would quote Diddy, but can't do that right now. But yeah, bro, like it's really just that engine and like I can't quit. It's a part of it. And if you look at things as this long journey, then it's a dot on a long ass line. So this loss feels big right now, but when we in Monaco in the 9/11s, I'm not gonna forget about it, but it didn't change my timeline.
Right.
So to answer your question, hell yes. I honestly I'm still like trying to like put pieces back together from like a lot of money that I lost from from a lesson in business. And now it has like again how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that made me want to be like very financially disciplined. So because when I'm dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, I'm responsible for people that I'm employing. I'm leading them. Like if my discipline is not in check, then how can I lead them? You know what I'm saying? So like I needed to fuck off that money. I needed to like run through $10,000 and be looking at QuickBooks and be like, where the fuck did it go? I don't know, Gary. I thought we needed that. You know what I'm saying? I thought we needed that sign. But yeah, like me and one of my best friends, Gary, like we started Cameron Christian together, and we did a lot of things financially, like borrowing money from family members or whomever we can get, saving our money, working a lot to do it. And thank God the shirts sell. Thank God the the clothes are good, but at the end of it all, like we really had nothing to show for it because we just didn't know what we were doing with like business things. So I'm grateful I didn't pop off, or I'm not like fully there yet because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, I think, you know, this upcoming release, a lot of lessons have come out of that. But like once we power through here and we get through this like kind of valley, I think you'll finally see some light there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for me right now is a big risk. Like it was all in probably like 20 G's, you know, and just from like the party, the investment into like the marketing infrastructure, everything that we're doing to like set up for longevity, like 20 G's to get this release going. And right now, like I'm feeling, you know, like I'm swiping my car. I'm like, I hope it don't go through. I hope, I hope Capital One or Amex is like, nah, brother, we don't need to do that. But I'm in a great spot, man, to where it's like going forward. I know what failure has taught me, and I always have like God like right there. That's my best business partner. So, you know, whatever we run into, it's not gonna break us.
No.
It's not meant to, you know. So yeah,
It's
like
meant to test you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The game, like Nip said, the game gonna test you. You feel me? And the beautiful thing is, I hope what everybody hearing is that you gotta go for it. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta say, you know what? Let me just be creative. Let me just do it.
Yeah.
Let me put my all into it. Don't just kind of do it if you want to do something. Like, do it.
Yes.
You feel me? And it's crazy to hear you talk about how it's like you're still in this process of trying to fine tune your craft, right? However, you already can see so much success in the fine tuning, and you haven't even dialed it all the way in yet. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a plane taking off. You're not on the runway. You off the ground. You really breaking through the clouds so you can get to that cruising altitude. You feel me? That's where you at. So it's and sometimes like it's hard for us to remember that. It's like the takeoff could be smooth, but then when we get in the clouds, we start hitting that turbulence. We could think something's going wrong, but you just got to keep going. You're gonna get that silver lining here soon, bro.
Yeah, and it's like to because I see what you're like where you're going with the whole like just kind of go for it deal. It's like choose your pain, choose your struggle. You can have the struggle of like what the turbulence feels like of going through it, or the trouble of like thinking too much on the ground,
Never taking off.
never taking off.
Yep.
Both are painful.
It's like at the end of the day, you taking off in cloudy conditions, no matter what business you starting. I don't care if you starting off with $1 million. I don't care if you started off fine. You might run out of fuel at some point.
Yeah.
You feel me? So there's all types of things that's gonna go wrong when you start your business, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so don't ever think like, oh well, this didn't work out, so now I'm a failure.
Yeah.
No, you just gotta get back to the ground and get back up in the air. You gotta keep going until it happens.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like just like the Orville brothers, like they didn't after the first plane, they didn't just say, well. No, they kept trying. They kept doing it.
Stick to these horses.
So it's just one of those things, bro. It's like just keep going, bro. So I think that's dope that you doing that. And it's encouraging too. I think a lot of people gonna hopefully y'all see like if y'all trying to do something yourselves, like you got a brother right here that's doing it himself, and you can actually see it in real time too. You feel me? So make sure y'all tap in with. Obviously, we're gonna have all your stuff here, but make sure y'all tap in with this brother because he's only going up, bro. And like another question I want to ask you before we get ready to wrap up and stuff. It's like a 2-part question. What's something that you want to bring awareness to? Something that's like that's on your mind, on your heart that you would like to share. And then also on the flip side of that is what's a piece of encouragement that you can just give to our family?
Got you. Bring awareness to. That's a great question. I think just being in the moment or the time period I'm in my life, and like a constant revelation that's going on. Be present. Like, it sounds very simple, but everything that we experience in this world right now is taking us out of the present. We're either too far ahead in the future or we're too far ahead in the past. And everything, the social media, like me looking online and seeing Porsche 911. I want one. I'm going to get one. And just seeing it, I'm fantasizing about what that looks like. And to a degree, it's fine. But if you're constantly like letting the world shape your consciousness to think outside of the present, then it starts to like take away our happiness. So a lot of reasons why I'm like the happiest I've ever been, and it's scary. Like, it's like, is this shit gonna last forever? But like you said, no one can change my thermostat. And a large reason why I feel like I'm happier than ever is because I'm so present. I practice meditation. I try to like constantly cut out things that make me think about. I don't have a problem with the past. It's the future for me. I'm constantly in the future, and like it's been such a change in my like mental clarity because like I'm a dreamer. So it's hard for dreamers to not stay present. So, but that's a part of the creative process. But when I'm not creating, when I'm not like constructing time to dream, I'm present. I could focus on some shit that happened in the past or what I don't have or all these things that could like take away my happiness or my presence of mind, or I could be putting that energy into my little brother. You know, like I could be worried about somebody doesn't like me for this or just all these things that like could take away my attention. Or I can like actually listen to my mom and like be like, bro, you came a long way. And that creates like a genuine moment between me and my mom where it's like, bro, I love you. And we have a moment for real. Or Paul or you, like when I'm here, I'm like, man, when is the next time I'm going to be Austin? It's not going to happen. I don't like Austin, but I love you guys. So I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
So even our conversation the other day, it's like, how many times are we going to have this conversation? How many times are we going to get to talk? Like, face to face, and you just really be like, let me get off my phone. Let me not cut him off. Like let me listen to what JB got to say. You know what I'm saying? And that builds better relationships, better friendships, and like it genuinely makes you happy. I'm not on a pursuit of happiness anymore. It's constantly my decision. And I get to take control of that. So I would say find what's taking your happiness away. Like I feel like a big part of it can be multiple things, but I think for a lot of people in the world right now, if you were just like very present in now and what you have to do today, what I have to do right now, because I could walk out this door, get in a car wreck, God forbid, with my people. So I hope that don't happen. But so me thinking about what I'm gonna do when I get home might be, cool to plan it out, but like obsessing about the past or the future, it takes it away from you. And I think like from social media to like the propaganda to everything that is like very worldly about the times we're in right now is designed to take you out of the present. And be mindful of that and set up your system, like what you do day to day, who you are day to day, what you think every day, to be present. And like you can't miss a moment. Yep. So I would say that's probably the thing I want to bring awareness to right now.
Be present. Be in the moment. And like you said, it's so easy to, well, this happened 50 years ago, 60 years ago, this happened and all this, and you hear all these conspiracies that are thrown around every single day. Like it's not resting. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not resting, bro. Internet really is undefeated because it's going to give you something new every single day to stress about. You know what I mean? It's going to uppercut you every single day if you really own it like that. And sometimes it's nice just to break away and just find happiness within yourself. It's like the saying, like it's in me, not on me. Like, you want happiness in you, not on you. You know what I mean? You don't want to just kind of get rained on. Oh, I'm happy, and then now it dries and you ain't happy no more. Like, you want it within yourself, like a reservoir that you can just release at any point. Like you said, like, I control my happiness. So I think that's beautiful, bro. And I think the last thing I would say is, like, what would you couple that as far as the encouragement you would tell people? It's like, yo, be happy today. Like, find what's beautiful today, and like sit in that.
Yeah, I'll say choose happiness.
Yeah.
Choose to set your day-to-day system up to be happy. And you know, I don't want to be tone deaf and not realize, like, people going through terrible times. Like, you know, I've been through the same. That's why I lead with, hey, I've been at the rock bottom of the rock bottom, so I know what it's like. Over time, though, you're able to make different decisions. Once your mind starts clearing up, once your habits start clearing up and being more geared towards health and longevity, like, once you start cleaning all that shit up, it is very simple choice of, like, I'm going to be happy right now. I am happy. I'm choosing happiness. So yeah, it may take time, but it's ultimately, like, if you think about what our purposes in life is about, what is more important than just living right now? I can say the purpose is this podcast. Let's rank it. Talking on this podcast or breathing.
What you think?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, there's nothing more important than now. And, like, you can give, and that's why meditation is important, because I'm focusing on my breath.
You focus on what you're in right now in this moment.
So when I come out of that meditation, all I'm thinking about is right now, you know. So, and I think ultimately the reason why being present is important, because it leads to, like, true happiness that is, like, it's contagious, man. You know, like, I wish I could bottle up and, like, sell it or give it away. Sell it. I need that Porsche. I'll sell it.
Maybe sell it. Maybe sell it for like a year or two, and be like, I give it away for free.
You give my money right there. We can crash out. But yeah, bro. I'll say that.
That's awesome, bro. I'm glad, again, bro. I'm happy as a friend, as a brother, to see you operating in that realm. Yeah. It makes it easy for me to be a better person, because I have a prime example. I have a living example, somebody that I can actually break bread with, that's operating in that space. And it's you know happiness is contagious, right? So, like, make sure, like, if anybody in your life is down or upset, it's a lot of stuff for them to be down and upset about. Like Cam said, we're not trying to be tone deaf to anybody's situation, but there is beauty in today. And we always saying is that we hope you find it, because every single day you wake up and you breathe that first breath, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So, again, I hope that's, man, I think that's great encouragement. I hope y'all find that as great encouragement. And, bro, I appreciate you for taking the time to come on the show. And before we get out of here, I'm going to make sure that we have all your links to your website, not to your website, to
it's gonna be
Instagram. It's right there. Maybe right there. Yeah, something like that. Something close. But no, I'll make sure that we get everybody tapped in with you, bro. And if anybody has any questions, if you're in that creative process, and you need somebody to talk to, reach out to Cam.
I'm glad you said that. I mean it too.
For sure. He's one of those ones that not only be there not for you, but be there for you genuinely, not just to be there. So make sure you reach out to my dog.
Especially while it's free.
Yes, sir.
Right now, it's like pouring into the community, like we said. Like, we're here to serve people. Yep. That's why I love that you say it's a family. So I wouldn't charge my family for information that could change their life.
100%. So make sure y'all tap in. And with that said,
hey, yo, where I'm from, these niggas shoot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're getting it.
Stupid ain't find a brick in the fridge. Only got 10K. Fuck.